Hey, how are you doing? I mean, how are you really doing? Because today we're going to be talking about emotions, and man, they can be up and down and all around and inside, and sometimes spew out. And that's what we're going to do a little check right now. When was the last time you've really thought about your emotions, and not only thought about your emotions, but invited God into that? We're in this sermon series called On Your Mark, and last week's sermon we took a look at the emotions that feel out of control and out of our control, and asked ourselves the question, what would it look like to invite God into that? And today we're going to take a look at David, a prayer of David in Psalm 86, because he really models somebody who did just that, invited God into the turmoil of emotions that he was going through. We're not going to read the whole psalm right now, but I encourage you to do so and really pay attention to this idea of David just going back and forth, even in his prayer. He goes from addressing God and then talking about himself, God himself, and then the verses that we're going to be reading today. But then he goes back to this back and forth, me, God, and he ends by asking God for a sign that he doesn't really receive in this prayer. So it ends on a ask of faith. And so in verse 11, David says, "Teach me your way, O Lord, and I will walk in your truth. Give me an undivided heart, that I may fear your name. I will praise you, O Lord my God, with all my heart. I will glorify your name forever, for great is your love toward me. You have delivered me from the depths of the grave." What I really love about these verses, the entire psalm really, is just how honest David is, how humble he is, and how in that honesty and in that humility he's able to experience God as his deliverer. And he prays such simple prayers. And how often do I complicate my prayers? Or when I'm asked to pray, I try to think, oh my goodness, what should I say? Instead of just very directly and plainly saying what's on my heart. David is very honest and direct. He says, teach me, give me. He, at the beginning, at the middle, and at the end, he says to God, answer me. And so in our honesty, we don't have to be all flowery in our prayer life. We can be just very direct, knowing that God already knows what's on our heart, and what he really wants is to shift our hearts. And that is the second takeaway, the humility that David has here, that he knows that he has a divided heart, and what he asks is that God would come in and shift his heart to give him an undivided heart. I love that he recognizes that great is God's love towards him, that he is praying to a God knowing that he is loved by that God. And he prays to a God who he says delivered me, already past tense, from the depths of the grave. So whether you're feeling today like you're in the depths of a grave, whether you're feeling the ups and downs of all kinds of emotions, or whether you're really too busy to take the time to really understand what's going on underneath, wherever you are in all of that, my hope is that you'll be able to experience God, be one with God, commune with God today. And my closing prayer is going to be a different kind of a prayer. My closing prayer is going to be the name of God. That's the Hebrew name of God. That somebody who knows way more Hebrew than I do explained to me that when you say this, it's really like an exhale and an inhale and an exhale and an inhale. So in our out of control emotions, if we breathe out and breathe in God, then we can experience that God who breathed life into us from the very get-go, from Genesis. He gave us life by breathing life into us. And so my prayer is that we'll be able to breathe more of who God is in the ups and downs of our emotions. Exhale out, breathing God.